Let's get ready for the Georgia real estate exam with 100 questions covering state-specific laws, principles, and practices you'll need to know. And don't miss what's happening in the bottom corner. It could be key to your exam prep. We'll tell you how in a minute. Now, let's get started.
Let's dive right into Georgia real estate laws and regulations. We'll start with an overview of Georgia real estate statutes. What is the primary purpose of the Georgia Real Estate Commission? Is it A, to set property tax rates, B, to enforce real estate laws, C, to provide legal advice to realtors, or D, to manage real estate transactions? The answer is B, to enforce real estate laws. The Georgia Real Estate Commission is responsible for enforcing real estate laws to protect the public interest. It ensures that real estate practices are conducted fairly and legally. What action can the Georgia Real Estate Commission take if a licensee violates the law? Is it A, issue a warning, B, impose a fine, C, require additional training, or D, revoke the license? The answer is D, revoke the license. The Commission can revoke a license if a licensee violates real estate laws. This action protects the public by removing unqualified individuals from the profession.
Have you noticed the code in the bottom corner? Next time you're stumped, take that code to birdsy.ai for immediate help and a free study session with Birdsy, your personal AI study partner. Plus, you'll get access to hundreds of additional questions, helping you move closer to passing your exam with confidence. The next time you're feeling unsure or stuck, give it a try.
Which entity is responsible for establishing continuing education requirements for Georgia real estate professionals? Is it A, the Georgia Association of Realtors, B, the Georgia Real Estate Commission, C, local government agencies, or D, the National Association of Realtors? The answer is B, the Georgia Real Estate Commission. The Georgia Real Estate Commission sets continuing education requirements to ensure that professionals remain knowledgeable about industry changes and legal updates. What is the maximum fine the Georgia Real Estate Commission can impose on a licensee for a single violation? Is it A, $500, B, $750, C, $1,000, or D, $2,000? The answer is C, $1,000. The Georgia Real Estate Commission can impose a fine of up to $1,000 per single violation. This is part of their enforcement powers to ensure compliance with real estate laws. What is the role of the Georgia Real Estate Education, Research, and Recovery Fund? Is it A, to fund real estate education programs, B, to provide scholarships for real estate students, C, to finance real estate research projects, or D, to compensate victims of real estate fraud? The answer is D, to compensate victims of real estate fraud. The fund compensates individuals who suffer losses due to a licensee's misconduct, providing financial recovery in cases where the licensee cannot pay. Georgia-specific fair housing laws. Under Georgia's fair housing laws, which of the following is considered illegal discrimination? Is it A, refusing to rent to a smoker, B, refusing to rent to someone based on race, C, refusing to rent to someone with pets, or D, refusing to rent to someone with a criminal record? The answer is B, refusing to rent to someone based on race. In Georgia, it is illegal to refuse to rent or sell a property to someone based on their race. This is in line with both federal and state fair housing laws. What is the primary purpose of Georgia's fair housing laws? Is it A, to prohibit discrimination in housing transactions, B, to regulate real estate agent licensing, C, to control housing prices, or D, to limit the number of rental properties? The answer is A, to prohibit discrimination in housing transactions. Georgia's fair housing laws aim to ensure equal housing opportunities by prohibiting discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, disability, familial status, or national origin. Which of the following is a protected class under Georgia's fair housing laws? Is it A, B, pet owners, C, familial status, or D, college students? The answer is C, familial status. Familial status is a protected class under Georgia's fair housing laws, ensuring that families with children are not discriminated against in housing. A landlord in Georgia refuses to rent to a person because they have children. Which law is being violated? Is it A, Georgia Tenant Rights Act, B, Georgia Rental Property Act, C, Georgia Real Estate Licensing Act, or D, Georgia Fair Housing Law? The answer is D, Georgia Fair Housing Law. Refusing to rent to someone because they have children violates both federal and Georgia's fair housing laws, which protect against discrimination based on familial status. Which scenario is an example of discrimination under Georgia's fair housing laws? Is it A, charging a higher deposit for pet owners, B, refusing to rent based on national origin, C, requiring a cosigner for students, or D, offering discounts to veterans? The answer is B, refusing to rent based on national origin. Refusing to rent to someone because of their national origin is discrimination under Georgia's fair housing laws, which protect against such biases.
If you're finding this helpful, please take a minute to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more practice exams, useful tips, and complimentary study sessions with Birdsy.
Georgia-specific contract requirements. What is required for a real estate contract to be enforceable in Georgia? Is it A, a verbal agreement between parties, B, a written agreement signed by both parties, C, an email confirmation from the seller, or D, a handshake witnessed by a third party? The answer is B, a written agreement signed by both parties. In Georgia, a real estate contract must be in writing to be enforceable. This requirement stems from the Statute of Frauds, which mandates written agreements for certain types of contracts, including real estate transactions. Which of the following is a unique requirement for real estate contracts in Georgia? Is it A, an appraisal report, B, a survey map, C, a legal description of the property, or D, the buyer's financial statement? The answer is C, a legal description of the property. In Georgia, real estate contracts must include a legal description of the property. This ensures clarity about the exact property being transacted, which is crucial for the enforceability of the contract. In Georgia, what is the consequence of failing to include a financing contingency in a real estate contract? Is it A, the buyer may be forced to buy without financing, B, the contract becomes void automatically, C, the seller must provide financing options, or D, the buyer can cancel the contract at any time? The answer is A, the buyer may be forced to buy without financing. Without a financing contingency, the buyer may be obligated to proceed with the purchase even if they cannot secure financing. This can lead to legal and financial complications for the buyer. What role does earnest money play in Georgia real estate contracts? Is it A, it is a mandatory fee paid to the state, B, it is a non-refundable part of the purchase price, C, it guarantees the seller's acceptance of the offer, or D, it demonstrates the buyer's commitment to the transaction? The answer is D, it demonstrates the buyer's commitment to the transaction. Earnest money serves as a deposit to demonstrate the buyer's commitment to the transaction. It is typically held in escrow and can be forfeited if the buyer defaults on the contract. How does Georgia law handle the requirement for property disclosures in real estate contracts? Is it A, sellers must disclose known material defects? B, disclosure is optional and at the seller's discretion? C, buyers must investigate defects on their own? Or D, no disclosures are required for properties sold as is? The answer is A, sellers must disclose known material defects. Georgia law requires sellers to disclose known material defects in the property. This ensures buyers have all necessary information to make an informed decision about the purchase. Let's continue with licensing requirements and procedures. Georgia licensing requirements and procedures. What is the minimum age requirement to obtain a real estate license in Georgia? Is it A, 16 years old, B, 18 years old, C, 21 years old, or D, 25 years old? The answer is B, 18 years old. In Georgia, individuals must be at least 18 years old to qualify for a real estate license. This requirement ensures that applicants have reached the age of majority and are legally capable of entering into contracts. Which of the following is a requirement for renewing a real estate license in Georgia? Is it A, passing a new licensing exam, B, submitting a new background check, C, completing continuing education, or D, obtaining a new sponsor? The answer is C, completing continuing education. Georgia requires continuing education for license renewal to ensure that real estate professionals stay informed about industry changes and maintain competence in their practice. How often must a real estate license be renewed in Georgia? Is it A, every 4 years, B, every 2 years, C, annually, or D, every 5 years? The answer is A, every 4 years. In Georgia, real estate licenses must be renewed every 4 years. This renewal cycle helps ensure that licensees remain active and comply with ongoing educational requirements. What is the required pre-license education for a real estate salesperson in Georgia? Is it A, 60 hours, B, 75 hours, C, 90 hours, or D, 100 hours? The answer is B, 5 hours. Georgia mandates 75 hours of pre-license education for aspiring salespersons. This education provides foundational knowledge essential for understanding real estate practices and regulations. Which entity is responsible for regulating real estate licenses in Georgia? Is it A, Georgia Department of Commerce, B, Georgia Department of Labor, C, Georgia Secretary of State, or D, Georgia Real Estate Commission? The answer is D, Georgia Real Estate Commission. The Georgia Real Estate Commission is tasked with regulating real estate licenses. It ensures compliance with state laws and oversees the licensing process for real estate professionals. Continuing education requirements. How many hours of continuing education are required every 4 years for a Georgia real estate licensee? Is it A, 24 hours, B, 36 hours, C, 48 hours, or D, 60 hours? The answer is B, 36 hours. Georgia requires real estate licensees to complete 36 hours of continuing education every 4 years to maintain their license. This ensures that agents stay informed about industry changes and maintain professional competence. Which of the following is a core topic required in Georgia's continuing education for real estate license renewal? Is it A, license law, B, interior design, C, foreign languages, or D, appraisal techniques? The answer is A, license law. Georgia requires real estate licensees to complete courses on license law as part of their continuing education. This ensures that agents understand legal updates and compliance requirements. What is the minimum number of hours of continuing education on license law required every 4 years in Georgia? Is it A, 1 hour, B, 2 hours, C, 3 hours, or D, 4 hours? The answer is C, 3 hours. Georgia requires real estate licensees to complete at least 3 hours of continuing education, specifically on license law, every 4 years. This ensures agents are aware of legal responsibilities and changes. If a Georgia real estate licensee fails to complete the required continuing education, what is the immediate consequence? Is it A, license suspension, B, fines, C, additional coursework, or D, inactive status? The answer is D, inactive status. Failure to complete the required continuing education results in the license being placed on inactive status. Licensees must complete the education to reactivate their license. In Georgia, how often must real estate licensees renew their license to remain active? Is it A, every 2 years, B, every 4 years, C, every 5 years, or D, every 6 years? The answer is B, every 4 years. Georgia real estate licenses must be renewed every 4 years. Licensees must complete the required continuing education hours to ensure their license remains active and in good standing.
Stuck on a question? Just think of the Birdsy link in the description as your friendly neighborhood superhero, swooping in to save the day with answers. Feel free to explore it now and return to continue. Simply hit pause, and we'll be waiting when you get back.
Georgia-specific exam structure and content. What is the passing score required for the Georgia-specific portion of the real estate exam? Is it A, 65%, B, 75%, C, 80%, or D, 70%? The answer is B, 75%. To pass the Georgia-specific portion of the real estate exam, candidates must achieve a score of at least 75%. This ensures they have a sufficient understanding of Georgia's real estate laws and regulations. What is included in the Georgia-specific portion of the real estate exam? Is it A, federal real estate laws, B, Georgia real estate license law, C, general real estate principles, or D, real estate mathematics? The answer is B, Georgia real estate license law. The Georgia-specific portion of the exam tests knowledge of state laws and regulations, including real estate practice, license law, and agency relationships. How many questions are typically included in the Georgia-specific portion of the real estate exam? Is it A, 35 questions, B, 45 questions, C, 52 questions, or D, 60 questions? The answer is C, 52 questions. The Georgia-specific portion of the real estate exam typically consists of 52 questions. This section assesses knowledge of state-specific laws and practices. What is the primary focus of the Georgia Real Estate Commission's rules and regulations? Is it A, enhancing real estate market efficiency, B, increasing real estate sales, C, facilitating real estate transactions, or D, protecting the public interest? The answer is D, protecting the public interest. The Georgia Real Estate Commission's rules aim to protect the public interest by ensuring ethical and professional conduct among real estate practitioners. Which of the following topics is emphasized in the Georgia-specific real estate exam? Is it A, Georgia license law, B, federal fair housing laws, C, property management practices, or D, environmental regulations? The answer is A, Georgia license law. The Georgia-specific real estate exam emphasizes topics like Georgia license law, which is crucial for understanding the legal framework governing real estate practices in the state. Let's continue with Georgia property ownership and land use. We'll start with types of property ownership. In Georgia, which type of property ownership allows an individual to have the most complete form of ownership, including unlimited duration and the right to transfer the property freely? Is it A, fee simple, B, leasehold, C, joint tenancy, or D, tenancy in common? The answer is A, fee simple. Fee simple ownership grants the owner the most complete set of rights under property law, including the ability to freely sell, lease, or bequeath the property, and is of unlimited duration. What is a key characteristic of joint tenancy in Georgia that distinguishes it from tenancy in common? Is it A, ability to sell individual interest, B, right of survivorship, C, equal shares, or D, separate titles? The answer is B, right of survivorship. Joint tenancy includes the right of survivorship, meaning upon the death of one owner, their interest automatically passes to the surviving owners, unlike tenancy in common. In Georgia, which form of property ownership allows co-owners to have unequal shares and no right of survivorship? Is it A, fee simple, B, joint tenancy, C, tenancy in common, or D, leasehold? The answer is C, tenancy in common. Tenancy in common allows co-owners to hold unequal shares of the property and does not include the right of survivorship, meaning ownership can be passed to heirs. How does a leasehold estate differ from a fee simple estate in Georgia? Is it A, it provides permanent ownership, B, it allows for inheritance, C, it includes the right of survivorship, or D, it is a temporary right to use property? The answer is D, it is a temporary right to use property. A leasehold estate is a temporary right to use and occupy land, typically under a lease agreement, whereas fee simple is permanent ownership with full control over the property. Which type of property ownership in Georgia allows for ownership by multiple parties with automatic transfer of ownership upon death? Is it A, tenancy in common, B, joint tenancy, C, leasehold, or D, fee simple? The answer is B, joint tenancy. Joint tenancy allows multiple parties to own property together and includes the right of survivorship, where ownership automatically transfers to surviving owners upon one owner's death. Public versus private land use controls. Which of the following is a primary function of zoning ordinances in Georgia? Is it A, to increase property taxes, B, to regulate land use and development, C, to enforce building codes, or D, to determine property ownership? The answer is B, to regulate land use and development. Zoning ordinances are public land use controls that regulate land use to ensure orderly development and compatibility between different land uses, such as residential, commercial, and industrial areas. What is a primary purpose of a restrictive covenant in a private land use control context? Is it A, to maintain property values and community standards, B, to increase local government revenue, C, to regulate public infrastructure development, or D, to enforce environmental protection laws? The answer is A, to maintain property values and community standards. Restrictive covenants are private agreements that restrict the use or occupancy of real estate, typically to maintain property values and community standards within a neighborhood or development. How does eminent domain differ from zoning as a public land use control? Is it A, eminent domain does not require compensation, B, zoning transfers property ownership, C, eminent domain involves taking property, zoning regulates use, or D, zoning is enforced by private agreements? The answer is C, eminent domain involves taking property, zoning regulates use. Eminent domain allows the government to take private property for public use with compensation, whereas zoning regulates land use without transferring ownership, ensuring orderly development. What is a variance in the context of zoning laws? Is it A, A complete change in zoning classification. B. A mandatory building code adjustment. C. A temporary permit for construction. Or D. An exception to a zoning ordinance. The answer is D. An exception to a zoning ordinance. A variance is an exception to the zoning ordinance granted to a property owner who demonstrates that strict compliance would cause undue hardship, allowing for flexibility in unique situations. In Georgia, what is the purpose of a comprehensive plan in land use controls? Is it A. to guide long-term growth and development? B. to enforce property tax collection? C. to regulate building safety standards? Or D. to manage environmental cleanup projects? The answer is A. to guide long-term growth and development. A comprehensive plan serves as a long-term guide for growth and development, ensuring that land use decisions align with community goals and objectives for sustainable development.
Notice the code in the corner? When you're stumped by a question, enter it at birdsy.ai for immediate help. Enjoy complimentary study sessions and access to hundreds of additional questions to help you pass your exam with confidence.
Land use and zoning laws. What is the primary purpose of zoning laws in Georgia? Is it A. to increase property taxes? B. to regulate land use and promote orderly development? C. to encourage industrial growth? Or D. to limit residential construction? The answer is B. to regulate land use and promote orderly development. Zoning laws in Georgia are designed to separate different land uses to prevent conflicts and ensure orderly development. They help maintain community character and protect property values. In Georgia, what is the purpose of a zoning ordinance amendment? Is it A. to enforce existing land use regulations? B. to restrict land development? C. to modify zoning regulations for specific areas? Or D. to eliminate non-conforming uses? The answer is C. to modify zoning regulations for specific areas. A zoning ordinance amendment in Georgia is used to change the zoning regulations or classifications for specific areas, allowing for modifications in land use to meet evolving community needs and development goals. What is a variance in the context of Georgia zoning laws? Is it A. a change in zoning classification? B. a temporary suspension of zoning laws? C. an exception to zoning ordinances? Or D. a zoning appeal process? The answer is C. an exception to zoning ordinances. A variance is a legal exception allowing a property owner to use their land in a way that deviates from local zoning regulations. It is granted when strict enforcement would cause undue hardship. How can a property owner challenge a zoning decision in Georgia? Is it A. by contacting the zoning board directly? B. by applying for a zoning change? C. by requesting a variance? Or D. by filing a petition in the Superior Court? The answer is D. by filing a petition in the Superior Court. Property owners can appeal a zoning decision by filing a petition in the local Superior Court, requesting a review of the decision. This legal process allows for judicial review of zoning board actions. Which entity typically enforces zoning regulations at the local level in Georgia? Is it A. state government? B. federal government? C. local zoning board? Or D. homeowners associations? The answer is C. local zoning board. Local zoning boards or planning commissions are responsible for enforcing zoning regulations. They oversee compliance with zoning laws and handle requests for variances or changes. Condominium HOAs. In Georgia, what is the primary responsibility of a homeowners association in a condominium community? Is it A. provide individual property maintenance? B. manage individual property sales? C. manage common areas and enforce rules? Or D. handle personal disputes between owners? The answer is C. Manage common areas and enforce rules. The primary responsibility of a Georgia HOA in a condominium community is to manage common areas and enforce rules. This ensures property upkeep and adherence to community standards. What is a key difference between a condominium and a cooperative in Georgia? Is it A. Condominiums have higher maintenance fees? B. Condominium owners hold title to their units? C. Cooperatives allow subletting more freely? Or D. Cooperatives have individual ownership of units? The answer is B. Condominium owners hold title to their units. In Georgia, a key difference is ownership structure. Condominium owners hold title to their units, while cooperative residents own shares in a corporation that owns the building. Which document typically outlines the rules and regulations for a condominium association in Georgia? Is it A. Declaration of Condominium? B. Warranty deed? C. Lease agreement? Or D. Purchase agreement? The answer is A. Declaration of Condominium. The Declaration of Condominium outlines the rules and regulations for a condominium association, detailing the rights and responsibilities of unit owners and the association. How can a condominium association in Georgia enforce its rules against non-compliant owners? Is it A. By evicting the owner? B. By increasing property taxes? C. By altering property deeds? Or D. By imposing fines or suspending privileges? The answer is D. By imposing fines or suspending privileges. A condominium association in Georgia can enforce rules by imposing fines, suspending privileges, or taking legal action, ensuring compliance and maintaining community standards. What must a Georgia condominium association provide to potential buyers regarding financial health? Is it A. A list of current residents? B. A resale certificate with financial statements? C. A detailed history of past property disputes? Or D. A copy of all past meeting minutes? The answer is B. A resale certificate with financial statements. A Georgia condominium association must provide prospective buyers with a resale certificate, which includes financial statements and information about fees, ensuring informed purchasing decisions. Environmental issues. What is the primary purpose of Georgia's conservation use valuation assessment? Is it A. To increase property tax revenue for local governments? B. To encourage the preservation of agricultural and forest lands? C. To facilitate commercial development of rural areas? Or D. To promote urban expansion into rural areas? The answer is B. To encourage the preservation of agricultural and forest lands. The CUVA aims to encourage the preservation of agricultural, forest, and environmentally sensitive lands by providing property tax benefits to landowners who agree to maintain their land in its current use for a specified period. Which agency is responsible for enforcing environmental regulations related to property ownership in Georgia? Is it A. Georgia Department of Revenue? B. Georgia Department of Transportation? C. Georgia Environmental Protection Division? Or D. Georgia Department of Economic Development? The answer is C. Georgia Environmental Protection Division. The Georgia Environmental Protection Division enforces environmental laws and regulations, ensuring compliance with state and federal environmental standards, including those affecting property ownership and land use. How does the Georgia Land Conservation Program benefit property owners? Is it A. By providing financial incentives for land conservation? B. By guaranteeing increased property values? C. By facilitating industrial development? Or D. By reducing zoning restrictions for commercial use? The answer is A. By providing financial incentives for land conservation. The Georgia Land Conservation Program offers financial incentives and tax benefits to property owners who preserve land for conservation purposes. helping maintain the state's natural resources and biodiversity. What is a key feature of the Georgia Uniform Conservation Easement Act? Is it A, it mandates land use for agricultural purposes? B, it requires all land to be zoned for residential use? C, it provides tax exemptions for industrial development? Or D, it allows voluntary restrictions to preserve conservation values? The answer is D. It allows voluntary restrictions to preserve conservation values. The Georgia Uniform Conservation Easement Act allows landowners to voluntarily place restrictions on the use of their land to preserve its conservation values, ensuring long-term protection of natural resources. What is the impact of a wetland designation on property development in Georgia? Is it A, it allows unrestricted development? B, it only affects agricultural activities? C, it restricts development to protect ecosystems? Or D, it encourages industrial development in the area? The answer is C. It restricts development to protect ecosystems. A wetland designation can significantly restrict property development in Georgia, as it requires compliance with both state and federal regulations to protect these sensitive ecosystems, often limiting construction activities. Let's move on to Georgia agency law and ethics. First, we'll review some agency relationship laws. In Georgia, which of the following is required for a valid agency relationship to exist between a real estate broker and a client? Is it A, a written agreement? B, an oral promise? C, a verbal agreement witnessed by a third party? Or D, a handshake agreement? The answer is A, a written agreement. Georgia law mandates that an agency relationship in real estate must be established through a written agreement. This ensures clarity and legal enforceability in the brokerage duties and client expectations. What fiduciary duty requires a Georgia real estate agent to act in the best interests of their client? Is it A, duty of disclosure? B, duty of loyalty? C, duty of care? Or D, duty of obedience? The answer is B, duty of loyalty. The duty of loyalty obligates agents to prioritize their client's interests above their own, ensuring decisions and actions benefit the client in real estate transactions. Which of the following is not a recognized way to terminate an agency relationship in Georgia? Is it A, mutual agreement? B, fulfillment of purpose? C, unilateral extension? Or D, operation of law? The answer is C, unilateral extension. An agency relationship can end through mutual agreement, fulfillment of the agency purpose, expiration of the agency term, or by operation of law, but not through a unilateral extension. In Georgia, what is the primary purpose of the agency disclosure form in real estate transactions? Is it A, to establish commission rates? B, to confirm property condition? C, to verify buyer's financial status? Or D, to clarify the agent's role? The answer is D, to clarify the agent's role. The agency disclosure form clarifies the agent's role, ensuring that all parties understand the nature of the representation and any potential conflicts of interest in the transaction. Under Georgia law, which of the following best describes the duty of confidentiality in a real estate agency relationship? Is it A, protecting client information indefinitely? B, disclosing client information when convenient? C, sharing client information with other agents? Or D, using client information for personal gain? The answer is A, protecting client information indefinitely. The duty of confidentiality obligates agents to protect sensitive client information indefinitely, even after the agency relationship ends, unless disclosure is legally required. Fiduciary duties and client representation. What is the primary fiduciary duty an agent owes to their client under Georgia agency law? Is it A, B, disclosure? C. Confidentiality, or D. Accounting? The answer is A. Loyalty. The duty of loyalty is fundamental in agency relationships, requiring agents to prioritize their clients' interests above their own. It ensures trust and integrity in client representation. Under Georgia law, which fiduciary duty requires an agent to keep the client's information private even after the agency relationship ends? Is it A. Obedience, B. C. Confidentiality, or D. Disclosure? The answer is C. Confidentiality. Confidentiality obligates agents to protect their clients' private information indefinitely, ensuring trust and security in the agency relationship. What fiduciary duty might be breached if an agent fails to inform a client about significant market changes affecting their property? Is it A. Loyalty, B. Disclosure, C. Reasonable care, or D. Confidentiality? The answer is B. Disclosure. Disclosure is a fiduciary duty requiring agents to inform clients of all material facts that could influence their decisions, maintaining transparency and informed consent. If an agent in Georgia acts in a way that benefits them personally at the expense of their client's interest, which fiduciary duty is violated? Is it A. B. Obedience, C. Disclosure, or D. Accounting? The answer is A. Loyalty. The duty of loyalty is breached when an agent prioritizes their own interests over their clients, undermining trust and the integrity of the agency relationship. Which duty ensures an agent in Georgia must act with competence and diligence in representing their client? Is it A. Loyalty, B. Confidentiality, C. Disclosure, or D. Reasonable care and diligence? The answer is D. Reasonable care and diligence. Reasonable care and diligence require agents to perform their duties with the skill and attention expected of a professional, ensuring competent client representation.
Don't forget to comment below with your tips, challenges, and thoughts on exam preparation. Your experiences can make a big difference for others.
Georgia Ethics Guidelines and Enforcement. What is the primary purpose of the Georgia Real Estate Commission's enforcement actions? Is it A. to protect the public from unethical practices, B. to increase state revenue through fines, C. to provide training for real estate professionals, or D. to promote competition among real estate agents? The answer is A. to protect the public from unethical practices. The Georgia Real Estate Commission enforces laws to protect the public from unethical practices. They ensure that licensees comply with regulations, maintaining trust in the real estate market. Which of the following is considered an unethical practice under Georgia agency law? Is it A. providing accurate property information, B. dual agency without proper disclosure, C. representing a single client in a transaction, or D. ensuring all parties understand the contract terms? The answer is B. dual agency without proper disclosure. Dual agency without proper disclosure is unethical as it can lead to conflicts of interest. Proper disclosure ensures transparency and fairness in transactions. Under Georgia Ethics Guidelines, what is required for a real estate agent to maintain their license? Is it A. annual submission of financial statements, B. monthly performance reviews, C. completion of continuing education courses, or D. participation in community service activities? The answer is C. completion of continuing education courses. Continuing education is crucial for license maintenance, ensuring agents stay updated on laws and practices. This helps maintain professional standards and protect clients. What is the consequence for a Georgia real estate agent found guilty of violating ethical guidelines? Is it A. immediate imprisonment, B. fines, suspension, or revocation of license. C. Mandatory community service. Or D. Public apology in local media. The answer is B. Fines, suspension, or revocation of license. Violations can lead to fines, suspension, or revocation of licenses, depending on severity. This ensures accountability and protects public interest. How does the Georgia Real Estate Commission ensure compliance with ethical guidelines? Is it A. by increasing licensing fees, B. through voluntary agent surveys, C. by offering incentives for ethical behavior, or D. through regular audits and investigations? The answer is D. through regular audits and investigations. Regular audits and investigations help identify non-compliance, ensuring agents adhere to ethical standards and protecting the integrity of the profession. Let's continue with a review of Georgia real estate financing. Starting with mortgage loans and financing options. What is the primary purpose of a Georgia adjustable rate mortgage? Is it A. to provide a fixed interest rate for the loan's duration, B. to offer lower initial interest rates with potential future adjustments, C. to eliminate the need for a down payment, or D. to ensure equal monthly payments throughout the loan term? The answer is B. to offer lower initial interest rates with potential future adjustments. An adjustable rate mortgage in Georgia offers lower initial interest rates compared to fixed-rate loans. This can make monthly payments more affordable initially, but they may increase as rates adjust. Which type of mortgage is most suitable for a buyer planning to stay in a Georgia home for a short period? Is it A. adjustable rate mortgage, B. fixed rate mortgage, C. interest-only mortgage, or D. balloon mortgage? The answer is A. adjustable rate mortgage. An ARM is often suitable for short-term stays due to its lower initial interest rates, which can be beneficial if the homeowner plans to sell before rates adjust. What is a key feature of a Georgia FHA loan? Is it A. high down payment requirements, B. exclusively for luxury homes, C. lower down payment options, or D. available only to investors? The answer is C. lower down payment options. FHA loans are government-backed and offer lower down payment options, making them accessible to first-time homebuyers with limited funds for a down payment. How does a Georgia VA loan benefit eligible veterans? Is it A. requires a substantial down payment, B. no down payment required, C. mandatory private mortgage insurance, or D. limited to first-time homebuyers? The answer is B. no down payment required. VA loans provide eligible veterans with the advantage of purchasing homes with no down payment and no private mortgage insurance, making homeownership more accessible. Which financing option is typically used for purchasing rural properties in Georgia? Is it A. conventional loan, B. Federal Housing Administration, FHA loan, C. U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs, VA loan, or D. U.S. Department of Agriculture, USDA loan? The answer is D. U.S. Department of Agriculture, USDA loan. USDA loans are specifically designed for rural property purchases, offering zero down payment options and favorable terms for eligible buyers. Loan applications and approval processes. What is the primary purpose of the loan estimate form in Georgia's loan application process? Is it A. to provide borrowers with an overview of loan terms and costs, B. to finalize the loan agreement between borrower and lender, C. to verify the borrower's employment and income details, or D. to inform borrowers of their credit score? The answer is A. to provide borrowers with an overview of loan terms and costs. The loan estimate form provides borrowers with important details about the loan terms, estimated payments, and closing costs, ensuring transparency and helping them make informed decisions. Which document is typically required to verify a borrower's income during a loan application in Georgia? Is it A, credit report, B, property appraisal, C, W-2 forms, or D, title insurance? The answer is C, W-2 forms. W-2 forms provide a summary of a borrower's annual income, making them a standard requirement for verifying income during the loan application process. In Georgia, what is the significance of the debt-to-income ratio in loan approval? Is it A, it determines the interest rate offered to the borrower, B, it evaluates the borrower's ability to manage monthly payments, C, it is used to calculate property taxes, or D, it helps in determining the loan term length? The answer is B. It evaluates the borrower's ability to manage monthly payments. The DTI ratio helps lenders assess a borrower's ability to manage monthly payments and debts, influencing the likelihood of loan approval. What role does the appraisal play in the loan approval process in Georgia? Is it A, it assesses the property's market value, B, it verifies the borrower's creditworthiness, C, it ensures the borrower has adequate insurance coverage, or D, it confirms the borrower's employment status? The answer is A, it assesses the property's market value. An appraisal determines the market value of a property, ensuring the loan amount does not exceed this value, thus protecting the lender's investment. Why is a title search important in the loan application process in Georgia? Is it A, to evaluate the property's condition, B, to determine the property's market value, C, to calculate property taxes, or D, to uncover any legal claims against the property? The answer is D, to uncover any legal claims against the property. A title search uncovers any potential legal issues or claims against a property, ensuring the lender and borrower are aware of any encumbrances before finalizing the loan. Georgia mortgage disclosure requirements. What is the primary purpose of the Georgia mortgage disclosure requirements? Is it A, to limit the amount of interest a lender can charge, B, to regulate mortgage brokers' licensing, C, to ensure transparency and consumer protection, or D, to establish uniform loan application procedures? The answer is C, to ensure transparency and consumer protection. The Georgia mortgage disclosure requirements aim to ensure transparency and protect consumers by providing clear information about the terms and costs associated with mortgage loans. Which document must lenders provide to borrowers under Georgia mortgage disclosure requirements? Is it A, annual percentage rate disclosure, B, loan estimate, C, good faith estimate, or D, truth in lending disclosure? The answer is B, loan estimate. The loan estimate is a key document that lenders must provide, detailing important loan terms and estimated costs, helping borrowers understand their financial obligations. How soon must the loan estimate be provided to borrowers according to Georgia mortgage disclosure requirements? Is it A, within 3 business days of receiving a loan application, B, immediately upon inquiry about a loan, C, at the time of closing, or D, within 1 week of loan approval? The answer is A, within 3 business days of receiving a loan application. Lenders are required to provide the loan estimate within 3 business days of receiving a loan application to ensure borrowers have timely access to important loan information. What is the consequence for lenders who fail to comply with Georgia mortgage disclosure requirements? Is it A, increased interest rates on future loans, B, mandatory borrower compensation, C, revocation of lender's license, or D, penalties and legal actions? The answer is D, penalties and legal actions. Non-compliance with disclosure requirements can result in penalties and legal actions. as they are designed to protect consumers and ensure fair lending practices. Under Georgia mortgage disclosure requirements, what must be included in the loan estimate? Is it A, loan amount, interest rate, and monthly payments? B, borrower's credit score and employment history? C, property appraisal value and tax assessments? Or D, lender's profit margin and business expenses? The answer is A, loan amount, interest rate, and monthly payments. The loan estimate must include the loan amount, interest rate, monthly payments, closing costs, and other critical loan details to ensure borrowers understand the financial commitment.
Notice the code in the corner? When you're stumped by a question, enter it at birdsy.ai for immediate help. Enjoy complimentary study sessions and access to hundreds of additional questions to help you pass your exam with confidence.
Georgia-specific loan programs. Which Georgia-specific loan program is designed to assist first-time homebuyers with down payment assistance? Is it A, U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs, VA loan? B, Georgia Dream Home Ownership Program? C, Fannie Mae Home Ready? Or D, Federal Housing Administration, FHA loan? The answer is B, Georgia Dream Home Ownership Program. The Georgia Dream Home Ownership Program provides down payment assistance to first-time homebuyers, making homeownership more accessible. It offers affordable financing options and helps reduce the initial financial burden. What is a primary benefit of the Georgia Dream Hardest Hit Fund? Is it A, low interest mortgage rates? B, down payment grants? C, mortgage payment assistance? Or D, home renovation loans? The answer is C, mortgage payment assistance. The Georgia Dream Hardest Hit Fund provides mortgage payment assistance to homeowners facing financial hardships, helping prevent foreclosure and stabilize housing situations during economic downturns. Who is eligible for the Georgia Dream Homeownership Program? Is it A, only veterans? B, all Georgia residents? C, anyone with a credit score above 700? Or D, first-time homebuyers or those who haven't owned a home in 3 years? The answer is D, first-time homebuyers or those who haven't owned a home in 3 years. Eligibility for the Georgia Dream Homeownership Program is typically limited to first-time homebuyers or those who haven't owned a home in the last 3 years, meeting specific income and credit requirements. Which feature is unique to the Georgia Dream Second Mortgage Program? Is it A, offers a second mortgage for down payment assistance? B, provides zero interest loans? C, targets only rural areas? Or D, requires no credit check? The answer is A, offers a second mortgage for down payment assistance. The Georgia Dream Second Mortgage Program offers affordable second mortgage options to help with down payment and closing costs, making it easier for eligible buyers to afford home ownership. What is one of the main objectives of the Georgia Housing and Finance Authority? Is it A, enforce housing regulations? B, provide luxury housing options? C, increase affordable housing opportunities? Or D, develop commercial real estate? The answer is C, increase affordable housing opportunities. The Georgia Housing and Finance Authority aims to increase affordable housing opportunities by providing financing options and resources to low and moderate income residents, fostering community development and stability. Georgia Department of Community Affairs. What is the primary purpose of the Georgia Department of Community Affairs in relation to housing? Is it A, to promote affordable housing through financial assistance? B, to regulate real estate licensing in Georgia? C, to oversee commercial property development? Or D, to manage state-owned properties? The answer is A, to promote affordable housing through financial assistance. The Georgia Department of Community Affairs primarily aims to promote affordable housing by providing financial assistance and resources to communities, ensuring housing accessibility for low-income families throughout Georgia. Which of the following programs is administered by the Georgia DCA to assist first-time homebuyers? Is it A, Section 8 Housing Program, B, Georgia Housing Tax Credit, C, Georgia Dream Homeownership Program, or D, Federal Housing Administration loans? The answer is C, Georgia Dream Homeownership Program. The Georgia Dream Homeownership Program is specifically designed by the DCA to assist first-time homebuyers with down payment assistance, making homeownership more accessible to eligible individuals. How does the Georgia DCA support community development? Is it A, by providing direct loans to businesses, B, through grants and technical assistance, C, by setting building codes and standards, or D, by managing public transportation systems? The answer is B, through grants and technical assistance. The Georgia DCA supports community development through grants and technical assistance, which help local governments and organizations enhance infrastructure and services, fostering economic growth and community well-being. What is one of the key roles of the Georgia DCA in disaster recovery? Is it A, providing emergency medical services, B, rebuilding public infrastructure, C, offering legal advice to affected residents, or D, coordinating housing assistance? The answer is D, coordinating housing assistance. The Georgia DCA plays a crucial role in disaster recovery by coordinating housing assistance, ensuring that affected individuals have access to temporary or permanent housing solutions following a disaster. Which statement accurately describes the Georgia DCA's role in economic development? Is it A, DCA provides direct investment in private companies, B, DCA regulates state tax policies, C, DCA supports community initiatives and affordable housing projects, or D, DCA manages state employment services? The answer is C, DCA supports community initiatives and affordable housing projects. The Georgia DCA contributes to economic development by supporting community initiatives and affordable housing projects, which help improve living conditions and attract businesses to the state. Continuing now with Georgia disclosure requirements and forms, starting with Georgia-specific disclosure requirements. Which disclosure is required by Georgia law to be provided to a potential buyer before signing a purchase agreement? Is it A, lead-based paint disclosure, B, seller's property disclosure statement, C, radon gas disclosure, or D, flood insurance requirement? The answer is B, seller's property disclosure statement. Georgia law mandates that sellers provide a seller's property disclosure statement to potential buyers before finalizing a purchase agreement. This ensures buyers are aware of any known defects or issues with the property. What is the primary purpose of the Georgia Brokerage Relationships in Real Estate Transactions Act? Is it A, to clarify broker-client relationships, B, to establish commission rates, C, to mandate environmental disclosures, or D, to limit real estate advertising? The answer is A, to clarify broker-client relationships. BRETA aims to clarify the duties and responsibilities of real estate brokers in Georgia, enhancing transparency and reducing misunderstandings between brokers and their clients. In Georgia, which form must a seller provide to disclose material defects in a property? Is it A, environmental impact statement, B, homeowners association disclosure form, C, seller's property disclosure statement, or D, title insurance disclosure? The answer is C, seller's property disclosure statement. The seller's property disclosure statement is a form that sellers in Georgia must provide to disclose any known material defects or issues with the property to potential buyers. What is a buyer entitled to receive regarding agency relationships in Georgia? Is it A, seller's property disclosure, B, lead-based paint disclosure, C, HOA covenants and restrictions, or D, broker's disclosure of agency relationships? The answer is D, broker's disclosure of agency relationships. Buyers in Georgia are entitled to receive a broker's disclosure of agency relationships, which provides information on the broker's duties and the nature of the agency relationship. Which of the following is a requirement under Georgia's Community Association disclosure? Is it A, disclosure of mandatory association fees, B, disclosure of past association disputes, C, disclosure of neighborhood crime rates, or D, disclosure of nearby school ratings? The answer is A, disclosure of mandatory association fees. The Community Association disclosure in Georgia requires sellers to provide details about mandatory association fees, which could impact the buyer's decision and financial obligations. Commonly used Georgia forms. What is the primary purpose of the Georgia Seller's Property Disclosure Statement? Is it A, to provide an estimated property value, B, to disclose known defects and issues with the property, C, to outline the terms of the sale agreement, or D, to list the improvements made to the property? The answer is B, to disclose known defects and issues with the property. The Georgia Seller's Property Disclosure Statement ensures sellers disclose known defects and issues about the property to potential buyers, promoting transparency and informed decision-making. Which form is used in Georgia to establish a brokerage relationship between a buyer and a broker? Is it A, purchase and sale agreement, B, seller's property disclosure statement, C, exclusive buyer brokerage agreement, or D, brokerage engagement agreement? The answer is C, exclusive buyer brokerage agreement. The exclusive buyer brokerage agreement is used in Georgia to formalize the relationship between a buyer and a real estate broker, detailing the terms and conditions of the engagement. What is the role of the Community Association disclosure in Georgia real estate transactions? Is it A, to inform buyers about HOA fees and regulations, B, to provide a list of local amenities, C, to estimate property taxes, or D, to outline property boundaries? The answer is A, to inform buyers about HOA fees and regulations. The Community Association disclosure informs buyers about any homeowner association fees, rules, and regulations that may affect the property, ensuring buyers are aware of additional obligations. In Georgia, what is the purpose of the lead-based paint disclosure? Is it A, to estimate renovation costs for old homes, B, to confirm the presence of asbestos, C, to provide a history of property ownership, or D, to inform buyers of potential lead paint hazards? The answer is D, to inform buyers of potential lead paint hazards. The lead-based paint disclosure is required for homes built before 1978 to inform buyers about potential lead paint hazards, protecting public health by ensuring buyers are aware of potential risks. Which document in Georgia real estate transactions outlines the terms and conditions of an offer to purchase? Is it A, exclusive buyer brokerage agreement, B, purchase and sale agreement, C, seller's property disclosure statement, or D, community association disclosure? The answer is B, purchase and sale agreement. The purchase and sale agreement is the primary document used to outline the terms and conditions of an offer to purchase real estate, including price, contingencies, and closing date. Specific procedures for transactions. Which form is required to be provided by a seller in Georgia to disclose known defects in a property? Is it A, buyer's property disclosure form, B, seller's property disclosure statement, C, real estate transfer disclosure statement, or D, Property Condition Report? The answer is B. Seller's Property Disclosure Statement. The seller's property disclosure statement is used in Georgia to inform potential buyers about any known defects or issues with the property, ensuring transparency in the transaction. In Georgia, when must the agency disclosure form be presented to a prospective buyer? Is it A, at the closing of the transaction, B, after the buyer makes an offer, C, at the first substantive contact, or D, after the inspection report is received? The answer is C, at the first substantive contact. The agency disclosure form should be presented at the first substantive contact with a prospective buyer, which ensures clarity about the agent's role and responsibilities early in the transaction process. What is the primary purpose of the lead-based paint disclosure in Georgia real estate transactions? Is it A, to inform buyers about potential lead hazards, B, to provide a warranty for new paint, C, to estimate property value, or D, to negotiate property repairs? The answer is A, to inform buyers about potential lead hazards. The lead-based paint disclosure aims to inform buyers about potential lead hazards in homes built before 1978, ensuring they are aware of health risks and can take necessary precautions. How does the Georgia Brokerage Relationships in Real Estate Transactions Act impact disclosure requirements? Is it A, it eliminates all disclosure requirements, B, it requires disclosure only for commercial properties, C, it mandates disclosure of financial qualifications, or D, it defines agent roles and disclosure obligations? The answer is D. It defines agent roles and disclosure obligations. BRRETA defines the roles and disclosure obligations of real estate agents in Georgia, ensuring that clients are informed about agency relationships and the duties owed by their agents. Which document is used to outline the specific terms of representation between a buyer and a real estate agent in Georgia? Is it A, sales contract, B, buyer brokerage agreement, C, listing agreement, or D, agency disclosure form? The answer is B, buyer brokerage agreement. The buyer brokerage agreement details the terms of representation, including the agent's duties and the buyer's obligations, ensuring clarity and agreement on both sides.
Thanks for joining us today. If you found this video helpful, subscribe to our channel for more practice exams, tips, and tricks. And don't forget to visit Birdsy.ai for complimentary study sessions with Birdsy, your AI-powered study partner.